What's up, sassy gamers? Today is September 2nd, 2021, and this is Season 2, Episode 12 of the Got Our Attention podcast. Here with Brian and Kelly today. Surprise.
What's up, guys?
It's an interesting week because this is the beginning of our favorite time of year, which is the con season, right? At least for the cons that we like to go to. We have PAX West that's starting.
Is that new pandemic?
No.
Like flu season, Rona season, con season.
Like that.
Yeah, no, let's not make it that.
Am I going to have to self-isolate?
Oh, God.
Maybe.
I hope not.
Depends on how your con goes.
Yeah, so there's PAX West that's going on starting tomorrow, which would be 9/3 in Seattle, Washington, and where Brian is currently at, which we'll talk to him in a second. And then we also have a Dragon Con, which is being held here in Atlanta, which is the convention that started actually, I think technically it's tomorrow, but usually people start partying midweek. Like today would have most likely been the first day of parties, and usually I'd be stumbling my way to some room at this point. But unfortunately, I won't be attending any of these in person.
Unfortunately, you're stuck with us instead.
How would this be different than any other week, Mike? That you'd be stumbling to a room?
It's a little different because it's just, it is. Just don't worry about it. Using those questions. It's weird. So it's we got some stuff to talk about today that will relate to that and some other things. But I'll go ahead and let Kelly have her corner.
Okay. This is my music. Yeah. All right. So I've got two stories for you. So I said last week that September 1st is the first day of Halloween season. And since Halloween season is upon us and I am about to start decorating hardcore and
Wait, you haven't already?
I mean, I've been decorating, but just not hardcore.
Slightly like August 25th, you're like slightly putting things on the bookshelf that like Jesse will know,
No, Jesse doesn't let me. There's no decorating until September 1st, but I actually, he's not listening to the podcast tonight. So I actually buy stuff kind of throughout the year. But as the stores start putting out their Halloween stuff, I buy them. And if he's home when I get home, I have to leave it in the car. Then I bring it into the house. So I was telling him, you'll be so proud of me. I was at Party City and I only bought two things, but I did not buy the life-size stand-up of Michael Myers. And he was like, and I go, yeah.
He's like, right. He goes, so what did you buy?
That's actually pretty cool. Yeah. And so I didn't have to tell him about the other stuff I bought.
What she did buy was the life-size stand-up of Jason and
with the full
Mummy.
chainsaw. Yeah.
And the Chucky. Yeah. What I did buy was,
that's not a very tall one if it's Chucky.
Yeah, it's not. It's teeny tiny. It's like just a little shorter than me. I did buy two Michael Myers window clings and I'm doing this because they're going to be on the French doors that are in my office. So
nice.
It's a very heavy Halloween, I guess. So, and I figured I would also maybe give you some Halloween decorating tips. I do make a lot of my own Halloween decorations, or setup. So
Tell me more.
Maybe I figured as I was decorating, each week, I'll give you like a couple of tips and tricks. But the first, I'll call it an article, I have is about a short horror film that was debuted at South by Southwest, and it was called Don't Peek. The reason why it's a big deal is that it was announced shortly after that Timur Bekmambetov, who is a director, wants to make a full-length feature film based on it. What I thought was cool and that our viewers would really be interested in is that Don't Peek is actually a short film based on a girl who is playing Animal Crossing on her bed in her room that's got all the lights off because It wouldn't
Why
be
not?
warm.
It's
Yeah.
Animal Crossing.
Most of the lights off. Yeah. So
'cause she's
she's
supposed to be
playing
sleepy.
the movie or playing the game on her Twitch, and at some point,
Switch.
her character tries to she tells her character to turn off or to open a drawer, and she realizes that the drawer in her bedroom is opening, and so she has it close the drawer, and the drawer closes, and then she has it walk over to a light and has the light switch pulled, and it turns off the light, and then turns the light back on, and so she starts thinking this is really cute, and then this other creepy figure shows up, and I think it will be one of Mike's very favorite short films. I don't want to ruin the film for you. The film is only about 6 minutes long.
Is it to show up in the game or like in her room? I'm guessing in the game, right?
No comment.
I mean, but when she sees it initially.
When she sees it first, yes, it does show up in there. But because there is the link to the game, I thought it was actually super
that's cool.
Cute. Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
You'll have to check it out.
And it's only like 6 minutes, so I can handle that.
Only 6 minutes long. It's fine. Yeah. The next one I had is about a guy who sued his parents because he was living in their house, and after his divorce, he lived in his parents' house for like 8 months, 9 months or something. And they, once he finally found his own place, they sent him stuff in the mail and shipped him some stuff. So he moved from one state to another. Well, he found out that of all the things that were missing, the most important things that were missing was his prized porn collection.
Oh, no.
Yes. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Because that's still relevant in like 2021.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, it's like vintage stuff. Like maybe he had like some really
It was.
old, oh, okay.
Some of it, and that was his point. Some of it was like, I mean, it was a lot, first of all. It was like a lot.
It was a lot.
Porn. A lot of porn. And some were, from studios that had closed down and he couldn't replace them and blah, blah, blah. And the case got thrown out of a couple.
If you talk about porn, sometimes it's a studio that you like just came into being 6 months ago and is now closed down. Yes. What's your point?
Exactly. And he definitely used that as like, this is irreplaceable stuff. His dad, in some of the court documentation, his dad says something like, "We did you a favor.
Wow.
You have had this issue forever. You've had this issue in high school."
Oh,
I guess I think that this probably played a role maybe in his divorce. I'm just guessing.
Oh my. Okay, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, anything done too much is a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. He did not seem like a real stand-up guy to begin with. Like, he was living there at his
There's
parents'
a joke
house
there somewhere.
Free. Yeah. He was living in his parents' house, like rent free.
8 or 10.
Yeah. He was, we'll have to attach the link. But he did not seem like a real cool dude, especially if you're going to sue your parents. So he sued them for over $30,000. He sued them a couple of times. The first couple of cases got thrown out. And then the last time.
But first you don't succeed.
The $30,000. Yeah, apparently. Give me my porn.
Stroke
Probably
again.
shouldn't have made that gesture. So anyway.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything.
That's great.
Yeah, my bad. So he has to pay his parents $30,000, which I think is totally not cool. Also, you're welcome for the free place to stay after your divorce, dude.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah.
So speaking of that gesture, which is the same gesture that you would, for those that are listening audience, the same gesture that you would see if perhaps you were actively using a shake weight.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
what it was.
Yes. That was the
Yes.
or the
but Speaking of that gesture,
it was in protest.
No More Heroes 3 released on the Switch, which is probably why I'm talking about it real quick, because I'm probably not going to get it because I just don't play my Switch that much. Mike, you should probably look into this. Maybe even do a game of the moment of this.
I
That'd be
don't
pretty
play
cool.
Switch that much.
One of the cool things is that the protagonist, Travis Touchdown,
Travis
who is
Touchdown.
like
Better than Trouser.
Yeah,
Snake.
Love the name.
He's kind of a superhero, and he's like defending. He's like a regular guy superhero type thing. He's defending the planet, and he's got it's a beam katana. So it's this electrical like stick, and it has an emitter on both sides, and in between it is a beam, and it is essentially a laser sword at that point.
Yeah.
To power up his laser sword, and not only does he do this on the screen, but you have to do this with the Switch controller. You have to vigorously shake it up and down.
No.
And on the screen, he grabs with both hands and shakes his beam. Oh, God.
Oh
Seriously,
God.
if you have not seen anything on this game, you should go check it out. I don't know if it's for everyone to play it, because No More Heroes, so it's got some lineage that is got maybe not direct relations, but what's it, Shenume? I'm saying that wrong. I know I am. But it's got some stuff where there's some really cool and funny things and some great fights, but at other times you're mowing lawns.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
As exciting as it sounds. But it's definitely
You had me at lawn.
Wait. Okay, so mowing a lawn does have another connotation.
No, he's not shaving a bush.
Okay, okay. Oh wow.
He's not manscaping.
Okay. Okay.
He's literally mowing a lawn and has to do it several times in this game. No, in all reality, please go. If anything here sparks interest, go watch someone play this at the very minimum.
Yeah.
It's batshit insane in the best possible way.
I'll have to check it out.
I mean, not
surely somebody's streaming
right
it
at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I'm sure someone is.
He finds this. There's this guy who finds this alien named Fu. Literally, capital F, capital U.
F you.
Fu, cute little alien, and he helps the cute little alien get back to his home planet. 20 years later, the alien comes back. He's all grown up, and he's like this super cranked up to 11, like rock star superhero type guy, but he's not nice. He's like he just brought some friends from the black hole prison that he just escaped.
Oh.
That sounds like an innuendo.
Wasn't there something in Raving Rabbids that was like that too? We had the Raving Rabbids Wii version.
Yeah. There was like a thing that you had to shake up and then squirt it at them. Yes, yes, absolutely. There's a Mario Party game where you have to shake the soda, and whoever gets the soda to go the highest wins.
Oh,
so you have to shake it up real hard and see how far up it spurts.
That's a good one to play after a couple of cocktails.
Oh my god. All right.
Okay. Let me just stop you there. It is never a good time to play Mario Party.
Okay.
What? No, Mario Party is great. The original Mario Party.
You can be tripping on PCP and no.
You're crazy.
Yeah, you would be crazy to like Mario Party.
Whatever. Well, anyway, let's get into the news.
Did you get your paper out, Mike?
He did not.
No time for the paper this week. As I mentioned, so PAX West is going on. Brian is actually in the field reporting this week from PAX. Obviously, it doesn't start today, so it starts tomorrow. But I wanted to kind of get a little bit of your thoughts on, because you've been many times in the past. Like, what are your thoughts so far on like just showing up? Like, how was the travel? How was getting there? Do people seem excited about this? I know there's people in the hotel with you, I'm sure. Like in the same hotel, not necessarily. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure what you're into. So,
I mean, it was no different. It's you traveling. Okay, it was a little different. I do admit that several times when I've gone to PAX East and PAX West in the past, when you get off the plane, when you get down to baggage claim is when you start seeing signs like welcome home, welcome back to PAX and things like that. Which I wasn't expecting to see this time. This is definitely going to be a smaller one, and they didn't have any of the banners or anything like that hanging out in the airport. But they've definitely done that in the past for those two. I mean, travel was so boring. We would lose listeners talking about it. I did immediately see people that are like, yeah, they're going to PAX. Both walking around downtown, in the hotel. We went out to get something to eat. So, we went to Cheesecake Factory, which, by the way, when I was talking to my wife, I made an alliteration mistake in the name, and I said Cheese Steak Factory. And let me tell you, mother effer, if there was a cheesesteak factory, I would be down.
That sounds like a cool
Oh, yes, that does sound.
That sounds
pretty
good.
Amazing. Cheesesteak Factory actually sounds delicious right now.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Even though I just had like a half a pound burger.
Oh, hey, and anybody listening or watching, you can't. We called it first.
Also, by the way, it's right across from the convention, and it is open till at least midnight.
Wow. And the menu is about 100 pages long and has lots of advertisements.
It's not like it's a bride magazine or something like that where it's 90% advertisements and 10% actual useful stuff. But there's a lot in that menu, and they actually repeat some of the things in the menu from, they might have it in their skinny thing, but they might also have it over here in this other section.
The entree section. Yeah. Well, it's because you can't read the whole damn thing, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah. Fun fact. I've never been to one of those. So.
You're not. I mean,
oh my God.
No.
You poor soul.
Poor? Am I really?
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's terrible. That's a terrible thing. But getting back to the convention, we did show up at the will call area. That's where you pick up your badges if you did not have them mailed to you. But we went there not to pick up our badges. We had them, but because they advised before the convention actually starts, show up with your proof of vaccination and or proof of that you don't currently have the Rona.
Negative COVID test.
Yeah, and then they give you a wristband. An essentially non-removable wristband.
Is that the wristband? So is that on top of also having like your entry, like a badge or something?
Because of this, it's on top of the badge. This wristband is to say that they have checked me and I'm vaccinated.
Got it. Okay.
They're color coded. Because of this, I don't have to show my vaccination card, or they'll actually accept pictures front and back. But I don't have to show my card to get into the convention because I have this wristband, and I have to basically keep it on for 4 days.
Nice.
Now,
hell?
It'll be fine. It's going to be fine.
Okay.
Haven't you ever been to a music festival?
Most convention goers don't shower to begin with, so it probably wouldn't be noticed. But I'm going to shower.
That's fine.
Yeah. But I guess not everybody showers at Bonnaroo, so that was a bad.
It's cloth.
Yeah.
So
it'll be fine.
Showering with this would be super easy.
Yeah.
Music Midtown's a great example.
Or any other festival like that.
Any other music festival where there's actually showers.
Now, what is terrible though, and why some people are really bent out of shape, and I understand it, I get it. because it was a dynamic situation. They said from the beginning, these health standards, these health codes may change. Some of them are imposed by the city, some of them are imposed by the venues themselves. So I mean, there wasn't a lot they could do about it, but it still is a bummer that you've already purchased tickets, and I mean tickets to the convention and plane tickets, and then all of a sudden they say, oh, and if you aren't going to be vaccinated, then you have to take these tests to show that you don't have the Rona, and the tests are only good for so long.
Yeah.
So then you have to take them again. The average person has to take the test color at least 2 or 3 times just to get in. And they'll get different. They will get different colors. Although I don't know what they are and what they signify. I would assume that a color is showing like an expiration date, basically, is what I would guess.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what colors they pick, and hopefully we won't hear a story about this later.
Brian expires on Tuesday.
It's like, oh, they use some really distinct colors that correlated to something in history.
I'm really going to be interested to see if group dynamics change, because you can tell who's been vaccinated and who hasn't been vaccinated.
Yeah, for sure.
I was going to see if there was like a little anti-vax shaming.
That's what I'll say. I'm curious to see what happens, because of knowing this now, we know someone's going to do something, and we'll see what happens.
Or it's even subconscious. Like people subconsciously move further away when they notice that they have a different colored wristband or something. I mean, that happens.
Yep.
So I'm really curious about that.
What about cosplay? You see anybody cosplaying so far? I know you said there's people already.
No, you wouldn't see that today.
Okay. Well, I mean, some people just like to do that. So.
No, Mike.
No,
I know if I went downtown Atlanta right now, I would see cosplay right now if I wanted to. I know that would be a thing if I could get in. But
because that's a different convention.
yeah, for sure. Just curious.
You would not see that today whatsoever. Because they did not do a board game night. Typically the night before, East and West both have board game nights, so that isn't occurring. I've seen that because I'm in the hotel where that would happen. The hotel bar that I'm in is a favorite hangout of people. Basically, anyone who is a vendor or works the show is in the hotel that I'm in. It's typically extremely difficult to get into this hotel because most of its rooms go to the people who run the show and the people that are vendors at the show.
So what he's saying is he's basically a big deal, is what Brian's saying.
No. I'm saying that's how small the show is. No, but what I mean by that is this hotel's bar is typically where those people hang out. All the time, if you want to see people who are attending, I've run into Patrick Rothfuss is probably the biggest name. I sat there and just talked to Patrick Rothfuss and bought him a drink before in this particular bar. Although not very long. The man does tend to value his privacy, and I respect that, so I try not to bug him too much. But there's plenty of other people like that. Game developers. I've met people that were working on Borderlands. So I've met some of those developers.
Well, actually, but by the way, chat wants you to, when you see Patrick Rothfuss, to tell him to finish his book.
Yeah, right. No, that's a constant joke at PAX. Like anytime the numbers 1 and 2 come up, they're like, "Well, don't rely on Patrick because he can't count past 2," or they'll do a joke like that all the time. They rub him on that. But none of that stuff's happening right now. The bar's pretty much empty right now, which is not typical for. Well, it's still early though. Even the night before the con, I would expect to see some of the vendors and stuff like that start to show up in the bar. I have seen a lot of people down the lobby area. It is a congregation spot. There's lots of sofas and stuff like that. It's a common place for people attending the convention there. So I've seen at least a dozen or so convention goers down there so far. Looking at the expo floor, holy cow, Bandai Namco, like I said last week, is the biggest name, and they've got the biggest booth. The biggest vendor booth. The actual biggest booth is the merch booth for the show, like by far. They
Wow.
took up. They basically said, "Oh, we have all this extra space, and let's just make sure that this is big, so it doesn't look like we have empty space somewhere."
That makes
is
sense.
my guess.
They're like, and also, social distancing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The expo floor typically is on like 3 floors, and it looks like it's only on 1 floor this year.
Oh.
Oh,
So
wow.
for West, it's typically on 3 floors, are stacked up. Some of them go across the sky bridge. So that 1 floor is actually kind of in 2 different buildings across the street from each other.
Skybridge sounds terrifying.
Oh no, Skybridge
FYI.
is so much fun. They're
Nope.
great.
Pass.
You don't even see out. It's super wide too. Like it's wide enough that Chesick sets up a booth along one side of the sky bridge, and then there's other ones in the center, and there's other ones on the other side. It's massive. It's
Yeah.
like a
No.
room that you
Mm.
walk through.
So is there anything that you're like excited about this year? Like, I know obviously it's very limited, like on the attendees, like the vendors and stuff, but
I'm excited to attend it in person,
just that in
and I
general.
awesome.
think that's going to
Just to,
be
like-
the general vibe of this is the people that want to get this convention going again, to get it back to where it was, so they're attending in person and showing their support that way. It's going to be bare
I
bones.
can
Now the
appreciate
panels,
that.
the panels look pretty good. The music looks a little bare bones. There is a group that I think is on the Sunday night concert called Master Sword.
Nice.
There was a great panel I saw at least 1 or 2 panels that were Zelda based, several esports panels, especially esports not just by itself, but esports in conjunction with like gender identity or diversiveness and inclusiveness. So they actually a lot of the panels try to tackle some problems, or some of the panels are just goofy fun. There's
just having a good
literally a
time.
panel of like what scares us in video games. I know that would have been, if you were here, that would have been
your
your number one
that
panel.
you would have been sitting
check
in
all
there
that
waiting.
apply, and I'd just be like,
Yeah.
is there a check all box, or is there just
Yeah. It's like cute, cuddly teddy bears
Yep,
scare
check.
Mike in video games.
Oh, hey, that's one of my very favorite games. I know I mentioned it on one of my earlier podcasts was about a teddy bear who just like goes around like rampaging and like
Oh, good gravy.
yeah. God, what was it called?
So
It'll
thing,
come to me halfway through.
the other thing, they definitely got the tourneys going on, and the tourneys are board game, console game, PC game tourneys that you can sign up for. One of them is going to be Monster Train,
Nice.
something that we showed previously. They have Zombie Dice tourney.
That
So
sounds like fun.
and they had quite frequent tourneys going on throughout the day, like they normally do. I will be interested to see how many people show up for them and actually are in them. But having actually worked the con before, I mean, most attorneys don't have a lot of people show up for them anyway. Usually like about 20 or so. So, when you talk about 77,000, 100,000 people showing up for a show, 20 people showing up for an attorney isn't a whole lot. But that was in board games. Maybe it was different in like PC games or something like that. It will be interesting to see. Not a whole lot of news yet,
Yeah.
but I expect this to be definitely the smallest PAX in the last probably 10 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, and then the same thing with what they're saying about Dragon Con. They actually capped it at like I think half their attendees, like at 40,000 is what I've heard. The rumors are, but it's it is going to be different. They have to obviously abide by law and regulation, especially the CDC guidelines and stuff. But that may also make the convention a little better because you can actually enjoy some of the things you typically don't get to enjoy because of just that many people. So
I was gonna say that's a great.
Actually, to give you an idea of how small it's going to be, Penny Arcade was made by 2 people. Tycho and Gabe, right? Tycho's going to be here.
Oh,
Gabe is
wow.
not.
Wow.
They live here in Seattle.
Oh, wow.
It's not like they have to travel. Now I don't know
Hey,
if that's
maybe there's
because,
another reason why Gabe's not going to be
there could
there.
be.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Krahulik, which is Gabe, it could be that,
There's a
him or
pandemic
someone
or
in his
something.
family. Yeah, they could have had exposure to COVID recently and can't make it. That could be what it is. It could be that for whatever reason he couldn't get vaccinated yet. There's
About a billion
different
reasons.
possibilities.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well,
Could be he just wants to. It could be that he's super skeeved out about this pandemic and does not want to attend,
yeah.
this convention with a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
Or maybe, like,
Simple as
he's
that.
out of town doing something else and playing this,
Or maybe it's a surprise and he'll show up.
I don't know. It's the
Yeah.
same time of the year every year.
That's true.
But
That's true.
obviously, we'll have you'll have more for us next week when we actually after it's over and you get to digest everything and tell us about how it goes. So
Honestly, I don't think it's going to be all that different.
we'll see. I'm sure there'll be something to talk about. You'll have some news story that'll be fun to hear about. So
Yeah, maybe something exciting will happen.
So, kind of moving on to the next story, and I know I'm going to pass this off to you, Kelly, but I just wanted to mention last week we talked about how Activision has announced that they're basically putting all of their devs on the new Call of Duty. That's kind of what they're doing because Call of Duty is their bread and butter at this point. Go ahead, take it away.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike.
problem.
Great segue. Okay.
King of segues.
So I'm not a fan of cheating in life, in games.
Oh, so no
in
roaching.
anything.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's a different discussion. And it's technically not
Oh,
cheating.
man.
And we can totally
Oh, my God.
we will talk about roaching in the intermission.
Oh,
Yes,
God.
we will. Yes, we will.
Oh, man.
It'll be very brief, so stick with us. So this guy, Rushman360, got banned from Warzone, supposedly. He is an out-and-out cheater, streams on YouTube, all of him and his buddy cheating, and I just think it's messed up. But he's got a following, so whatever. Suddenly, he's got multiple accounts, tries to log in, and realizes he is banned from Warzone. Supposedly banned because of a hardware ban. Sends out a TikTok saying, "Oh my God, I'm totally banned, hardware ban. So proud of the developers. They finally got me, blah, blah, blah." And Call of Duty tweeted with a commercial basically saying, "We're going to get you.
Yep.
Watch out. We already got this guy."
Here's real
And
footage
then-
from a real cheater.
Yeah,
Watch
exactly.
now.
Yeah. We've been putting so much effort into this anti-cheat, software. But the problem is, later on, he was cheating again. So the way that they think he got caught was his hardware ID spoofing tool probably effed up and sent out his hardware ID, and they were able to connect the dots. And then, also, if you're going to be restricting people based on hardware ID, if you really, really, really want to keep cheating, and you're a streamer and you've got plenty of money, you can just replace some of your hardware and
Right.
fix the issue and create new accounts. But I do think it's kind of hysterical that he's still cheating. He's like, "Oh, great job, guys." And then he's like,
Yeah. I mean,
"Back at it."
they mentioned that it was he's still posting stuff that he's done since that video, but there's no he hasn't said, "Yeah, this is the date today and I've done this today." So there's no way to know if the footage he's
That's
posting
true.
is old or if it's just he is still cheating. But I mean, why would he still continue posting new stuff if like
Yeah.
it's not. So
Yeah.
seems very,
Sad.
very, very fishy on that one.
Yeah. I think you're. Can I say douchebag, or do we have to? Okay, I can say. I think he's a freaking douchebag.
I mean, you can say whatever you want.
Whatever. Mm-hmm.
Um,
I guess I was asking, since I'm going to edit this, do I need to bleep this out?
No.
For? No. We're good. You're a douchebag, Rushman 360.
There you go, for sure.
And
so another thing with the Call of Duty world, so Call of Duty Mobile actually released as well. They have PUBG Mobile, you have Fortnite Mobile, all these like first person or third person shooter games that have translated over to a mobile phone, and Call of Duty Mobile is one of those as well, and it has really taken off. And in the terms of it debuted back in October 2019. It's free to play. That same day it reached 1 million downloads. 19 days later, it topped the 100 million, and that number swelled to 500 million this May in 2021 is what Activision announced. I'm reading the specifics here from a Washington Post article. By comparison, apparently this is this actually compares to the mainline entries they have, which has steadily been increasing since 2003 and have sold over 400 million copies to date. So it is a game on phone that is just as popular as some of their console games that they have put out as well. And it is like obviously not going anywhere. It's still free to play. It's one of those games where it's free to play, but it's like cosmetic based. You can buy a lot of things for your character and to look cooler, to have certain type things, but it's still technically free to play, I guess you could say. But it's definitely just continuously growing and growing and growing, and it's not going to go anywhere else. And somebody actually in chat just says there's way more phones in the world than consoles, and at this point that is very true. And it's not just like you got to think it's not just like the U.S. market. Like there's so many people in the world that have phones, and that's literally like that's the only option they have. They don't have a console. We can't even get PS5s. I mean, so it is something that they use. But
outside the U.S.
Just so chat is aware, we have two chats going on. One in Google, one in YouTube, same thing, and one on Trovo. So join us wherever you are able to.
Yeah, we're going worldwide now. What were you going to say there, Brian?
Outside of the U.S., the phone is the most used thing for gaming by far.
Yeah, they even make like attachments where you can like have almost like triggers for your phone, so you can like hold your phone and actually pull the trigger and stuff. So really,
I've got an attachment that attaches my phone to my controller.
Yeah, but I mean these are just literally like just little flappers that you can just attach. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, but that's terrible. You just use your controller.
Yeah. Another thing of
Warzone is free to play itself, and it's interesting because one of the other comments was they need to take a break and go and do the anti-cheat. The problem is that their Warzone is kind of their Fortnite.
Yeah.
So they can't really take a break from it.
Yep.
And they already changed their core studios, so instead of doing
I think you can always
cycle,
take a break. We're clear.
Well, yeah, but it's a live game. It's constantly changing. It's constantly going. It's not like it's a new version being released every year, like the rest of the Call of Duty is. So that makes it a little bit more difficult, because if they take a break on it, they're going to lose their audience, and getting their audience back is going to be extremely difficult.
Yeah.
How about stand up for what you believe in, which I mean, Blizzard Activision not so good at. Maybe this would be a
Well,
sorry to bring them up again.
I mean, they did stand up for what they believed in, and they're getting real trouble for it.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
But
true story.
I think the biggest problem with the anti-cheat there is with the regular Call of Duty games. If you get banned, you basically have to buy a new version of the game.
Yeah.
So there's a much, much taller hill to climb if you want to cheat. This guy who's cheating is cheating in Warzone. And because of that, it's a free account. It's free to play.
Yep.
So that's why they kept going and going and going and going until they got hardware banned. And the hardware banned is what really killed them.
Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
So it's difficult to do anti-cheat as well too, because you can just a lot of the sound cards built into our motherboards comes with, I think it's like Sonic Suite 3. If you've ever seen that pop up in your system tray.
Is that a new game?
No, that's literally it's part of the sound card that it will use the fact that the game is giving you 3-dimensional audio, and it'll tell you what direction the sound came from.
Yeah.
So if you don't have that in a game like Fortnite, when you hear shots off in the distance, you see it up in your compass as a red dot. This is a very similar thing, except that it applies to games that don't have that. And that's a super easy thing to do. And there's no real way to detect it from the game server side.
Yeah.
And a lot of the cheats are, they're doing similar things. They're getting the 3-dimensional information that is coming in and has to be sent to your computer and interpreting that in such a way, and then doing inputs outside of the game itself to like change your direction of view. And I was watching Fortnite the other day, and I just saw a guy that was snapping from person to person off in the distance, some that he couldn't even see, but it was like instant snap. And I was like, okay, this guy's cheating. Yeah. So I've already seen people cheating in Fortnite. It's extremely, extremely hard to block this type of cheating.
Yeah.
It's definitely hard. It is definitely hard.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
Is it though?
Wait, you way to use my words against me.
I am. It's great.
It's because you like how I say it.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. But I mean, do you feel like a bigger person cheating? Like,
I mean, some people just get off on that.
I guess.
No,
I mean,
some people are just amused by it because it's not about being a bigger person. It's about pissing the other people off.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of people out there
that's all they want to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are plenty of that gives them pleasure.
Just to troll people, and then you can put it on stream, and then people watch it and go, "Oh, that's so funny! Ha ha ha! Look how funny that is."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all you have to do is listen to our podcast, and we do it to each other all the time already.
That's true.
Now we do
mainly
it
to me
in a more
joking, loving way.
Yeah,
yes,
it's a more friendly way. But what they're doing is just a larger version of that.
No, so here's the difference. Do we like troll each other? Yes, but ultimately, if anybody needed anything, we'd give it to them. I don't think that these cheaters would be like, oh, do you need a cup of sugar?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. That's my point.
Do you need a shoulder to cry on? No, that's
my
the
point. Is that there is a difference. And it's the difference is we know when to stop. We know when to not do it anymore. They don't, and they care more, especially since it is anonymous. All they know is that they're gonna like really piss off a bunch of people, and there's probably other motivations too. I'm probably oversimplifying some things here, as I normally do, but the big difference is they don't know when to stop, whereas and they don't want to stop. They may even know when to stop and don't give a shit because they're like, fuck this asshole, I don't know who he is. I'm just gonna go out there and I'm like, ha, ruined your day. You're like trying to play this game for real, and I just like was able to ruin it without even trying very hard. And and on top of the fact that some of them are just broadcasting this stuff on YouTube, so or wherever.
Yeah, I just recently had my purse stolen from a gas station. Again, what I would consider cheating. And I'm like, really, man? Get a job, one. If you needed the money, kill me. Like, just pull the, oh, my car broke down and I just need a couple bucks to get some gas. Here's $3, man. Like, I'll help you out. I just don't understand how you can be putting your own like entertainment or whatever in front of somebody else. I just
it is a thing.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
It is a thing.
Yeah.
So if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, so Warzone is a battle royale game, and that's why we're talking about some of the stuff that we're talking about, like compared to Fortnite and PlayerUnknown stuff. But one of the things,
there's specific reasons why I've been comparing it to Fortnite.
Right. So one of the other things too is they announced recently on the Warzone path here is that they're actually bringing what they think is going to be Judge Dredd to the game as well. So there had been a tweet that comes out and said a new order is about to rise in Verdansk, and it says Warzone, hashtag Black Ops Cold War, and the pictures show 4 different indications that are like part of like Judge Dredd type like wear, I guess you could say. So people are thinking that Judge Dredd will be coming to the game as a character, I guess, that you can play with. So there is that. So another thing that I wanted to kind of bring up, because we're on this battle royale talk, and it's kind of interesting because the creator of PUBG, or PlayerUnknown Battleground, it's Brandon Green. He created this, God, I don't know how long ago now. This, what, 7 years ago now, something like that. But basically coming from DayZ mod, doing battle royales like Arma 2, and then also doing H1Z1 a little bit. He created PUBG, or PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. He just released, or he just announced that he's actually going to be leaving the studio. So he'll actually be going off to do his own thing. He said an exploration of new technologies and gameplay as his own person. He said he's still going to hold a minority stake in the company. And I believe the company's Bluehole, if I'm correct. Or is it... Green Crafting since 2016, so maybe it's crafting. But either way, he's leaving. He's going to create his own, and that is
Crafton's the actual.
Gotcha. So that is the news that we have for that, which is kind of interesting. And that was basically all of our Battle Royale news that we had for the day. And we'll go ahead and move on into our next story, which is also quite interesting. So recently it was announced this week that China has announced that they are going to limit the gameplay for children, whether that be on their phone, console, or whatever. And it's going to be a very interesting thing. Like, they can only play, I believe it's like Friday or Saturday evenings, and only for a certain period of time, which is really strange because, like, I mean, yeah, well, like, doing anything, like we said earlier, doing anything for a long period of time is probably bad. Like, doing anything, if you spend that much time doing it, it's probably bad. But
yes,
go ahead.
But it is like China's trying to take control of a lot of stuff.
Right.
Part of the article that I read said that, you know, like, the overwhelming influence of technology is going to be messing with China's society, and you know, it's their personal habits. They don't want this, you know, impacting the kids. But really, it's not just the kids. I mean, China has banned lots of stuff. Yeah. They've banned, you know, different websites and stuff like that. So this is just another way of them taking control. And I think, Mike, you were going to say, you know, it's only 3 hours a week, but it can only be between 8 and 9 p.m. on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then if there's a holiday, 1 hour. It's sad. We'd done another story, I think, about facial recognition. Oh, Mike, you look great there. And he's back. Facial recognition, them trying to, they've even gotten the gaming companies involved.
Yeah.
So if the gaming companies do not comply with this ruling, then they're going to be in trouble too. And what are they going to do? You know, they're not going to.
Yeah, it's
more cheating.
It is a interesting thing, but like you said, it's more about them controlling their citizens, and it is anybody under 18, right? So that's, you know, there's already so much that they already limit to their people anyway, like as far as like news and media, and like we talked about the Minecraft, you know, library, like that's one of the reasons it's created, so people in those countries like that can actually access things from outside of their country because that they're not typically allowed to see. And this is just another thing that we're seeing. I mean, they have facial recognition already too. They track everybody. And how they do that, and what I was reading about this is how they actually do this, because it's like, well, how do you know? Well, each person that has to play a game has to sign up to like an account, right? Well, that account's like tied to their like China ID, which is like their social security number. So that's how they're able to track like who can play and who can't, which is wild. So it's like imagine having to log into Steam and I had to tie my social security number to Steam or, you know, Epic or something. And like that's like that would be wild. Like I couldn't imagine that.
I really just could not imagine.
All of this is just going to lead up to like a stand down between a student and a tank in the middle of Lazy Lake Square.
Lazy Lake Square. This guy can't get Fortnite out of his head. He really can't. He just can't. So
I'm just saying, I mean, like if you're talking about gaming being the battleground, I mean, that could be where they make their stand.
Oh my.
That was bad, Brian. That was bad. That was not okay.
What? No, I'm not joking.
I know he's not joking.
About it
That's
being
bad.
free, like Minecraft and stuff like that. Being able to
Are you
protest.
Really comparing Tiananmen Square with?
No, I'm saying that's where they actually might end up taking the protest to.
Okay.
I'm not comparing it to like some game thing that's already happened. Okay. I'm just saying that because there's not too many spaces that are free that they can go, that the protests might end up in some of these game spaces.
Yeah. So in other streaming news, Facebook Gaming, which has also been a big player in the streaming market now since, you know, day off Twitch, that the big old thing has been going on this week. Actually, here we are on different platforms this week, which we actually may continue doing because it's pretty fun. But Facebook Gaming, also another large one, because right now the big three are basically YouTube Gaming, there's Facebook Gaming, and then there's Twitch. And Facebook Gaming, or with Twitch, has always been a battle with DMCA with music. Music has been like one of the biggest things that streamers like to do, whether they're streaming and they have music playing in the background, or if they're just chat and they're just talking and listening to music or whatever. There's been so much controversy around the music space, and it's been tough. But Facebook actually just came out and said that they're going to partner up with, actually it says, as content and entertainers, or I'm sorry, as creators and entertainers, we know you want to play music during your game live stream. And not just any music, but music people know that will get them hyped, it's all caps, as they watch. At the same time, you probably realized or heard elsewhere that music or rights are music and rights are complex and hard to understand. So they go forth and they talk about all this different stuff, but they basically have partnered with Universal Music, Warner Brothers Group, Sony Music, Cobalt, BMG, and all these different places to be able to bring some of these artists and everything to the platform. So with being able to be on their platform and streaming the music, you won't have to worry about the licensing or DMCA issues. They've already handled that for you. So this is another way that they're trying to bring in, you know, obviously new content creators, new streamers, you know, gamers and all that stuff. But they said, obviously, you know, what songs are not covered. It's like, well, there's obviously things are subject to change, you know, the specific license agreements, everything, you know, the legality of it starts getting in deep there. But the object is they're trying to pull in some people there. So that way it's like, you don't have to, you can take one thing off of your plate of like a streamer. You can just, you know, listen to music and you're fine. Which is interesting for all the things that are kind of turning right now.
Agreed. So Twitch yesterday was take a day off Twitch, and Twitch do better. We did not stream on Twitch because of the hate raids, in protest of the hate raids. And if you didn't see our last broadcast, the hate raids consist of people just going in and being freaking mean to people. I said on the last stream that, you know, raids for me have always been a positive experience,
Right.
but people, we were talking about the cheaters earlier, like people just want to come in and just be cruel and bring people down. And right now is not the time to be doing that. It's not the time to be doing that ever, but especially right now.
Right.
So we took the day off Twitch. Lots of people took the day off Twitch, apparently. I don't know that Twitch really thought that this is going to be a huge thing, but according to an outside tracker called Twitch Tracker, they provide some data, outside data. There was a 22% drop in the peak concurrent traffic of the day. So it wasn't a total drop altogether, but a 22% drop of the peak concurrent traffic is huge. Typically, they have 4.5 million concurrent viewers at that time, and they dropped to like 3.5 million viewers at that time. So I think that it does say to Twitch, this is a big deal. We're your people. We love streaming on your platform, but you really have to do better.
Yeah, there was actually another one of the famous streamers. I can't remember his name right now, but he actually signed a contract with exclusivity with YouTube Gaming. So he's leaving Twitch, going to YouTube Gaming, which is another person that's, in the past we've had, Shroud, you've had Ninja, and all these people who left, eventually came back, but with just these other platforms out there now, like even we're on Trovo. I mean, I didn't even know who Trovo was until this week when we were like, we're taking a week off of Twitch. And here we are on Trovo. And I'm like, man, this is actually a cool platform. Like I do like it. It's very easy to interact with. We're broadcasting tonight on YouTube as well because we hadn't done that before. So we figured we'd check that out as well. And, both of these are very easy to do. And it's just nice to see that we have other outlets out there now to be able to stream. As opposed to just having the one big, guy who we have to just go to, and it's it's like the one mob that you have, the mob boss that you have to go pay all your your money to so they can protect you. At least now we have some other people we can actually try to get some protection from. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah. I think it also would have been a lot more noticeable. Yeah, I mean it was still in some ways very large drop, but I think it would have been more noticeable Twitch if the word had gotten spread a little bit better. Some of the other stats were like 897,000 channels streaming the Wednesday before, and this Wednesday was 834,000. So it's really a drop of like 63,000 content creators, which sounds so small when you talk about nearly 900,000, right?
Yeah.
If we had more content creators drop off of it, then it would have been even a bigger chunk. It was still, a decent drop in the, amount of viewable. They went from like 65 million hours viewed to 54 million hours viewed. So over 10 million hours, which is a viewership.
That's ad money.
That's ad money. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the big number for them.
But here's to play the devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a Twitch executive, and I do not speak for Twitch. My concern as a Twitch viewer is, are they just going to make that up in a different way, or are they really going to do something about it?
Yeah, they're just going to make it up in a different way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for like getting off Twitch like we did this week, and even going forward doing multi-streaming and all that fun stuff. But, ultimately one day is not going to take them down. That's not even necessarily going to impact them enough to where they have to do something. It's just more of like, if they do something now, it's like, oh, but see, we listened. We're going to put another filter in that allows, and it's just like the same thing they do all the time, where they just don't really answer anything and continue. That's just how it always has been and still will be, until one of these other platforms can actually compete and people actually leave Twitch and say, you know what, we don't have to stream here, and we can just go elsewhere. And once that starts impacting their wallet, then when it starts affecting their space program, that's when they'll decide to, actually do something.
They're going to be Space Cowboys too?
Yeah.
Not in my backyard.
So, But yeah, so that is our news for now. Hang out for just a few minutes here and listen to a word from whoever our sponsor is this time. And we're back. So we're going to get into, the thing that we typically do, which is what we've been playing.
And that is.
So this
music
week.
was playing.
Yeah, this week.
The game music was playing.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
good.
hear the music.
It was perfect.
Oh,
You
bad.
said it right at the end.
Oh,
So
good.
cool.
Perfect.
Oh man. So this week is actually kind of interesting. I had took off, like I'm on staycation, like because it's usually con season. I'm usually at the cons, but this week that didn't happen. But I'm staying home, and what I'm doing is trying to get my short attention brain to actually play something. And usually I get in this cycle of like where I have all these things I want to do, and I do all of them for like a minute, and then I'm like, no, I want to do the other thing now, and I want to do the other thing, and it just keeps cycling through. Welcome to my world.
Or decision freeze.
Yeah, it's just
Yes.
bad. And by the time I decide on something, it's already too late. I'm like, it's bedtime. Like, what the heck? So I did actually pull up. I downloaded Unity again, the game engine developing tool. So I started creating a new game. Nothing fantastic. Nothing like it's gonna be. Nobody's gonna play it. It's gonna be just me. I'm just learning really how to use the program again. But it's actually interesting because this time it's a little better than before. It was a lot faster, a lot easier for me to like comprehend some of the stuff that I had to do. So that was pretty neat. And I've been doing that a lot. Today, I actually played another new game, Automa Chef. I think that's how you pronounce it. Automa Chef. It was a free game on Epic, the game store they gave out the other day. And it's very much... I haven't really played a whole lot of it yet, but it's very much up my alley. It's literally like Overcooked, like you're in a fast food restaurant environment, except you add in
Overcooked.
Satisfactory, where you're trying to automate everything. So you have machines that are making all
nice.
the food. So you're trying to put the conveyor belts for buns and then cheese, and you have to process the cheese or the hamburger patties, and you got to get them cooked. And then when they're cooked, they got to go to the conveyor belt to be packaged together, and then the assembler has to assemble them and push them out. And people are ordering things, and you have like you actually have an order taker or something that like once it gets the order, then you can link that stuff to the other machines. So if it's a cheeseburger, then it sends out to just the machines that are on the cheeseburger assembly line to make an actual cheeseburger, and so forth and so on. So it's a pretty interesting game.
Just makes me want to have a cheeseburger right
Oh man,
now.
it is a interesting game. It's pretty neat that it has like both of those together because in a nutshell, it's just an automation game, right? You're trying to automate something, but this one's like fast food, so it's like that part of it too, which is really fun. So I was enjoying that today. We also played. I say we because we did. Yooka-Laylee. Played that for Game of the Moment this past Tuesday. Or actually,
Factory? Wow.
I was literally just thinking Cheesesteak Factory again. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh
You guys need to let that one go. Just let it go.
no. Drinking and hunger.
So this week on Game of the Moment, we actually played Yooka-Laylee, which is kind of a sequel to Banjo-Kazooie, is what I found out. So really neat 3D platformer game, and it's like a lizard with a little bat on his head, which is the Laylee part, right? So Yuka is the lizard, and it was a very interesting 3D platformer. It was very much in the feels of like a PlayStation game, and it was very much like very easy to play. It wasn't really difficult to figure out. And it didn't punish you too much. Like you had a lot of health, and like you would get hit by these little creatures and things. And we ran into a trouser snake who was giving us the instructions of what we needed to do. And it was very interesting because he was very trouser snake like, I guess you could say. But yeah, it was a very fun game, very cutesy, like a little adventure 3D platformer, and I enjoyed it. We played it for about an hour or so, and there's just a lot of like any other game like this where you can like basically come back to it like different areas at times to collect different things because you find something else that you can actually go back to that area and do things. And there was also we found out at the very end there was an ability portion that you could like buy from Vendy, the vending machine, and you can like
Maybe.
add on different powers and things that will help you in the world. So pretty cool, neat little game. I'd recommend it if you're into like something that just wants to be chill and just kind of like a relaxing type of game. I would definitely recommend it for that. What do you think, Kelly? Did you enjoy the stream?
Yeah, I thought it was super cute. The one thing I didn't understand was like why the bat couldn't help you fly.
Yeah, that was actually one of the most concerning parts.
I mean, Yooka's pretty heavy.
Yeah,
he didn't even try. He just like, yeah.
He's an little bitty bat. His wings can barely like make him fly.
At one point, Yuka almost went splat off a cliff. Like,
Yeah.
so we thought it was a sequel, and chat is telling us that it wasn't a true sequel because it wasn't made by the same developer. So
right. Well, I think it was
you very much,
made
chat.
by the same studio.
Studio,
Right.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah, studio would be rare.
Sorry,
from
I blame
Banjo-Kazooie.
Booze.
Yeah, no. I
Don't believe anything I say.
some of the same developers worked on it.
Yeah, sorry.
But obviously development teams change, so there would be new developers that worked on it too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking up for me, Brian.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the games that we played. Yooka-Laylee, I think, is
always complicated.
It was free on Epic. I don't know what it costs right now. I guess I could Google that while I wait. But if you want to go ahead and tell us, Yooka-Laylee.
Oh,
I won't be able to tell you. My internet can't handle it right now.
Yeah, right now it is on Steam for $39.99. Wow, that is a hefty price tag. I would have thought, but and then
Oh yeah, because it's been around for a while. I mean, when they announced the Switch, they announced the fact that Yooka-Laylee was going to be coming out on it shortly thereafter. So it's not like a game that's brand new.
Yeah, I would say if you want to play it, I don't know, $39.99 is pretty hefty for price tag for a kind of game like that. But feel free if you want to pay for it. Great. If you want to put it on sale, put it on your wish list and pick it up later. It's a fun game. It'll definitely keep you entertained. And like I said, it's something very much just an easy, relaxing couch. You can even play co-op actually, kind of game. So definitely recommend it for that.
That's cool.
And then Kelly, you said actually, well, I had one last thing, and it's literally this: No Man's Sky New Frontier, or the Frontier DLC has just been released, expansion, and it looked really cool. I was super pumped about it. I installed it, mapped all my keys, and then I was like, I don't feel like sinking like 20 hours into this right now, and I turned it off. So eventually I'll come back to it, but it looked really cool. I was super pumped about it, but man, I was like, once I got back into the game, and I was like, where am I? What base is this? What do I need to do? Like, oh my God, all the things that I have to do to like do things. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm done. I'm out. I don't have that time right now.
You know what? This is too stressful.
Going back to that,
right
like
now.
having to decide on things. Like I was like, nope, I'm good. This is done. So that's what I've been playing this week outside of the normal Fortnite and other things like that. But those are the new things that I've been playing this week.
So I've been playing a couple of things. Brian told me about a game that we're going to talk about next week. Really bad intro. But I was in like a mood.
Better than what I was going to do.
Okay, yeah. I was in like a mood and just, I like a funny game. It's something that can kind of keep my attention just for a little bit in between, kid stuff. And there's a game called Donut County that Brian and I both love. And it's very sarcastic. If you have not played Donut County, you can play it on your phone. I played it on my phone. It's an easy game, but it's funny. It's got good dialogue and you get through it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I ran across this other game called Rain on Your Parade. And I was like, yes, like I'm in. It is this little cloud. And the whole point of the game is you like rain on people and like ruin somebody's day.
Oh, that's
awesome. I was
awesome.
like, yeah. So it's been a lot of fun. I've only played a little bit of it, but it kind of takes your attention away from whatever you're doing. And I definitely want to see if it's on my phone. I played it through Game Pass and it was free, but on Steam, it is $14.99 right now.
I'll have to tell my wife about that one. I think she may like that.
Yeah, it's a couple of the things you have to do. It's like positive and negative, right? So it's like you're the first one is you're at this wedding, and it's like one, you have to rain on all the people.
Okay,
That is awesome.
Wait, hold on. I've got to say, I love it. Teacher's like, I just don't know how these people can be assholes and cheat, ruin other people's days. I was at this wedding and I rained on all these people. It was so much fun.
But I mean, it's like, like they weren't real people. I wasn't really ruining their day, but yeah,
that's worse because you watched Free Guy.
Yes, yeah, that is true. That is those poor NPCs. Oh my gosh, those poor NPCs were just trying to get married and.
That's hilarious. I can't wait to play this game.
Beautiful.
Now.
Yeah, I got some rough news earlier this week, and I was just like, "F it!" Like, I just need something to like take my mind off of stuff, and it definitely worked. So if you liked Donut County, it's the same graphical style as Donut County. You will really enjoy this game. You'll really enjoy Rain on Your Parade.
Sweet. What about you, Brian? Did you play anything? I know you've been prepping other than Fortnite.
I'm like Kelly said, we're playing a game that we will talk about later.
The secret game again that nobody will know. Oh. Okay, cool. Then it shall not be named.
Secret Asian game. Wait, wait, what?
Oh God. All right. Well, I guess on that news, we'll get into our shorts.
You gotta let me know when the music's done.
It stopped. Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know.
So for those that are like listening and confused by why we're saying this and that you're hearing the music, normally they can hear the music, but that usually comes from me, and I'm on vacation in a different part of the country, and I do not have that equipment with me. So none of us can hear all the sound effects that have been there for the last 5, 6, 10 episodes or whatever. Anyway, for my news short, this was there's a game dev. He's been making this like interesting little game called My Friendly Neighborhood. It's a creepy looking game. This is direct quote from Kotaku about a human-sized puppets that come to life and attack you while you're exploring the set of a show reminiscent of Sesame Street. And he ran into this bug. And like, there's just no way to really talk about this. I've just got to show it. It's just crazy. He freaks out. He multiplies. His arms go over the place. He attacks the player. It is like...
It is definitely terrifying. It is.
The clip is actually longer than that. If I don't know which site you're on, but like he basically goes down the hallway as it's chasing him, and he finally like keeps shooting, and these just like multiple things just keep coming, and he finally gets around the corner, and like they don't chase him, and he's like, okay, so he like pops his head back out to look, and they're like millions of them like all over the wall.
It is like truly terrifying.
It was pretty funny. I was freaked out.
It looks like a Sesame Street character, but what you can't hear is it making like the noise.
Yeah,
You get shot, and they're like the way it multiplies too is also pretty freaky. So
yeah,
it's almost like he should find what caused the bug.
Yes,
isolate.
Oh no, that's what he did. He said, "I found this bug. I'm going to isolate it, and I'm actually going to use it as part of the game."
Yes,
he did say that. He did say that.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
I did miss that part because that's if you're making a creepy game, that needs to stay in there.
Yeah, it was what it was two pieces of the game that coincided with each other, and it was pretty amazing. Yeah, it was pretty terrifying. So
cool.
The Sims 4, they just released the industrial loft kit, posted it on tweeted about it, and it's the advertisement of it was this beautiful loft window, like Brooklyn style overview, and the sun like comes in and drifts over. The one problem was that window wasn't part of the freaking kit. These kits are small pieces, really small collections of stuff that you can get. They're supposed to be like really super cool. And they were like, oh, we're really sorry that, dude, they got this outrage on Twitter. Really sorry that the window wasn't included. Don't worry, we'll work on it and we'll add it in.
Like, how would you not even have that already? Like, maybe oh, we forgot to put it in. Sorry, we'll add it. No, it's like, oh, we're going to work on that. Like, what?
Like, this advertisement of this gorgeous view. No, not okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, if you're a fan of Skyrim and the Nexus mods, you're probably familiar with one called the No Skyrim mod. And if you're not, it's very interesting. The mod is simply this. It replaces the executable file essentially for Skyrim. So when you click the icon, nothing happens. So the point is no Skyrim. You don't play. It's the point of trying to wean yourself off of playing Skyrim. Well, on Nexus, it had been uploaded there for the community for a while. And actually, Nexus Mods has removed it from their platform because they say that it goes against like the actual terms of service that a mod should be, which is, to help the game and do different things. But a petition's even been started to try to add the No Skyrim mod back to Nexus Mod. And for now, you can actually download it from a not suitable for work mod site called Lovers Lab, which has already been downloaded over 60 times. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right. So a game that Zeiss has been playing called Cookie Clicker. You talked about it a little bit last week.
Still playing it. It's still running right now.
Yeah. Was never actually meant to be like a really great game. It was just supposed to be, keeping your mind off stuff. It has actually ruined people's lives. There was a player. Oh gosh, it was Living Dead Squirrel, which I just want to give a shout out. That is a Rob Zombie Living Dead Girl takeoff of one of their songs. Living Dead Squirrel was like, this game almost ruined my life. So it's 8 years old and has grown some legs and taken off.
Yeah, it came to Steam.
Is it
recently,
ruining your life? Is it ruining
It's
your life?
not, but it's definitely running in my browser. And the worst part is, even if it's not on, like you can leave the site, and when you reload it, it picks up where it left off and says, hey, you've got so many cookies since the last time you were on. And
Cookie Clicker is no joke. You can ask my wife.
It is like, interesting.
And see, I hit Cookie Clicker 8 years ago when it was new. Now it has grown and changed. Like it went places then. And they clearly have expanded it and I'm not saying that for the length of time Mike's played it. Mike has not played it very long, but some of the things that he's doing is stuff that didn't exist.
Ask his wife. Game. He's played it a lot.
Oh no, that's the thing is Cookie Clicker's played all day long.
Okay. Yeah, it's 24/7.
And like it's not about how long you've played it during the day. It's like how many months you've been playing Cookie Clicker.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And speaking,
it was really bad when my wife walked in and I'm playing one on my browser on my laptop and one on my phone.
Oh,
I'm like tapping my phone.
That's a whole new level.
Yeah, that's a whole other level. I'm not there. But speaking of,
says you who has two phones for Clash of Clans.
It's different.
That's different, he says.
So the other thing that's interesting that's long that you were talking about is since they've actually added it to Steam, Steam now comes with achievements, right? So now you have your game on Steam, you got to make achievements. Well, Wario64 posted on Twitter that this might be the longest achievement name. It says that's really hard to. This is the actual achievement. It says there's really no hard limit to how these achievements names can be, and to be quite honest, I'm rather curious to see how far we can go. Adolphus W. Green, 1844 to 1917, started as a principal of the Gruton School in 1864. By 1865, he became second assistant librarian at the New York Mercantile Library from 1867 to 1869. He was promoted to full librarian from 1869 to 1873. He worked from Everts, Southmaid, and Coet, a law firm.
Go over our 60 seconds.
Funded by William M. Arts, Charles Ferdinand Southmaid, and Joseph Hodgshot. He was admitted to the New York State Bar Association in 1873. Anyway, how's your day been? And that was an achievement that he won after he baked 10 sextillion cookies per second. So that is quite wild.
Jesus.
What's even better is the achievement for hitting, what is it, 10 septillion cookies per second. Is the achievement name is fast.
Nice. Oh man.
So, what we reported on relatively recently ago was that Amazon's MMO New World was destroying video cards, and we were all mystified by this because, like video cards have like thermal shutdowns, they have things to protect them, they have throttling, there's like all this stuff. Well, yeah, it ends up that it really was only the EVGA cards that were getting bricked and replaced. There was about 24 of them that they replaced. They had identified it was actually a poor workmanship in some soldering around the cards circuits, even though some of that soldering is automated, so it's not necessarily human poor workmanship. It just could have been like solder wasn't high enough in the bath. So they said,
God, if I had $1 for every time that happened.
They said it was only the 3090s. It was less than 1%. And because of what happened, they had actually shipped them new cards right away without waiting for the old damaged cards to be returned. So that was very nice.
So this is probably one of the strangest articles that I've covered in a long time. But Final Fantasy XIV now has fried chicken themed chicken in Japan, I guess. So Final Fantasy XIV themed fried chicken has gone on sale in Japan. And this is an article from GameSpot, but basically they called the flavor the Crystal of the Light and Darkness, which translates to pepper and tartar sauce plus a strange looking color scheme. So the chicken's part of this thing called like carriage, which is a popular snack in Japanese convenience stores. But it's the meat. It's not breading. It's actually colored black and white. And it is very odd. Very, very odd. And if you're watching right now, you'll see it. But it's a very strange piece of chicken. And I don't know how I feel about it, but it doesn't seem very cool to me.
I'll try it. I'll try anything once. Well, any food once. Sorry, I should probably read my damn story.
Moving on.
If I can find my story about... Hold on.
Oh, God. I'll start the counter over.
Oh, yeah.
That's very...
You probably should.
That's mighty Mike of you.
Thanks, Mike.
Every once in a while.
Yeah. So there's a saddle-based company who just raised $200 million... Saddle-based video game company just raised $200 million through different series of Series A financing round. But I know we've talked a lot about Blizzard Activision and how they're just like awful. They want to build a family first company. Like it is the company is the family. The employees are the priority. They want to be able to keep everybody. They want them to be able to spend more time on creative work instead of just like, okay, we're finished with this game. Oh, massive round of layoffs. Bye-bye. I think this is a nice change in the gaming industry. One of the things that I loved about my last company was that everybody kind of was a family. You know, it was one of those, I can make fun of my mama, but you can't make fun of my mama type scenarios. And that sort of company builds relationships, and that
it's almost part of the culture, I guess you could say.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, I'll stop with my second TED talk.
Kelly talks.
I dug it. I thought it was cool.
Thanks.
I even stopped a joke that I was going to do.
Aw,
wow.
I thought it was a really great, amazing opportunity for a lot of people, and great philosophy for a company. So, go ahead, Mike.
Not me.
So,
or Brian.
there's a number of speedrunners out there that do meme speedrun challenges, which and what that is it's not like the goal isn't to complete the game, it's to do like something weird and funny that normally can't do in the game and do it as quickly as possible.
I love speed challenges.
A lot of these guys, these speedrunners, are trying this new challenge, this meme challenge in Mario Kart 8 DX, where they're trying to blue themselves. Not what you're thinking, Kelly. Specifically what that is that they want to intentionally blow themselves up with a blue shell that they shot. And that's difficult in a number of reasons, because one, you have to be in the blue shell goes after who's in first place.
Right.
And typically you can't shoot the shell unless you are in first place. And unless you're not in first place. Yeah, not in first place.
And you won't even get it, I don't think.
Yeah. In fact, you can't get the blue shell until you're at least 2,000 units behind the leader. And
or take out a rib.
And it doesn't.
I couldn't stop myself.
Or take out a rib.
Terrible.
To blue yourself. Yes. Good going, Kelly. I knew that was coming. Something like that.
Oh, God, stop.
You have to be 2,000 units behind, and it has to be 30 seconds in before the first blue shell shows up. So there's a number of things that what they do is they race backwards so that they get far enough back for when the 30 seconds hits. And they're hoping to get a star and 3 mushrooms so that they can get back in first place and also get a blue shell on the way. And so theoretically, if you could do this perfect, they figure that the fastest you can do it is 34.7 seconds. Well, there is a gentleman that has been working on it and spending, I think, in the thousands of hours. Skill-Oz has actually come incredibly close to that. And it includes skills like you have to be nearly frame perfect when you shoot off the blue shell. So right as you're going into first place, so you have basically a 60th of a second window to get the timing right. And he got to 34.867. So a little bit over a 1/10 of a second off of that perfect time. Or another way to say that is he basically got like within 10 frames.
This is going to be the next Olympics.
I could see speed running in the Olympics.
Yeah, I love watching
they've got
speed
speed
videos.
Walking in the Olympics. So
that's true.
They called it something else though, like professional walking or something like that.
Yeah. It used to be speed walking. It used to be called speed walking.
Yeah. They I guess they gave it a different name to make it sound more athletic, I guess. I think someone watched it and they said, never have I seen a line of men who look like they desperately are trying to get to a bathroom fast.
Jesus.
Because they get this intense look on their face and they're like upright and they're moving really fast, but they're not running, and it's like they're squeezing their butt cheeks really hard. And they're like, anyway.
Terrible.
Yep.
We're terrible.
Here we are. So if you want to send us an email, send us one to goa@sasgaming.com. Also, those of you who are con goers are going to be at the con, whichever one this weekend. Hashtag SasGaming. If you see something interesting that we should look at or take a look, or you think it's cool, want to just tag us, do that. So that's what got our attention this week. If you're interested in checking us out, usually it's Tuesday, Thursday. During the week, we usually broadcast now on every channel that we can. We're going to try to go everywhere. But outside of that, you can find us on YouTube. On our YouTube channel, we usually put all our videos edited up onto there as well, so you get to see all of that content. I know, too bad, right? So outside of that, if you want to help us, and do whatever, sponsor us a little more than normal just by watching, you can go to our patreon.com/sasgaming and be able to check out the different tiers there for you. And then we also put up the podcast with ad-free, like uncensored or whatever. So you can just check it out there.
You can hear all the stuff that we say.
That isn't doxing, at least.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
Don't do that, Kelly.
pretty much. So outside of that, you guys have a great
You
con.
did that because you know I have to edit it.
Have a great con.
You'll just drop my audio at that time.
Have a great con. Brian, you stay safe out there. Let us
Yeah.
know if you got running anything cool. Obviously, you'll tell us next week.
Yes.
And until next week, you guys take it easy. Or how Demiran would say, take her easy, bud.
Take her easy, bud.